There's no doubt that there's a difference between good and bad horror games. Some of them are obvious, like how much money and time were spent on developing the game, or how many people there were that had a say-so in producing it. However, there are some factors that are hidden from people, and also some factors that can't be altered by time nor money. No matter how big the game studio, no matter how much advertising or hype that a game may have, there are just some things that can't be bought. And yeah, I know that sounds cheesy, but it's true, so just shut the fuck. So, what is this magical thing that separates the good horror from bad horror? Well, if you think about it, it's the same thing that separates anything and everything from being considered good and bad. It's the same thing that separates a song from sounding like this,
Then he waddled away,
from sounding like this.
in this Minecraft day.
And that thing is something that we all know. You know it, you love it, passion. Then there's also another extremely important thing that gets involved, but we'll discuss that after we discuss passion. So, here we go. Let's first examine what makes a terrible horror game. In a previous video of mine, I talked about why horror games don't terrify us like they used to, and one of those reasons was because of something called oversaturation. In short, oversaturation is when something is used over and over again until it becomes dull and mundane. A perfect example of this is with Slenderman. I won't go on a rant here because I covered this topic in my last video, but basically, when Slenderman came out, its idea was unique, and that idea was, I stop moving when you look at me. However, in 2024, there's about 100,000 things, movies, and games that utilize the exact same mechanic and nothing else. So, nowadays, when a horror game is being made, especially by a bigger game company, all they will do is meet up in a boardroom with the development team, and they'll have a conversation that'll go a little something like this. Yeah, just take a seat anywhere, I guess. So, thank y'all for coming. Short notice, I know, but good news. We have officially decided to give y'all the green light on that new horror game that y'all have been wanting to make. Yes! Alright, thank you so much. Man, I've got so many ideas that I want to do for this. There's gonna be this guy, there's gonna be puzzles, and there's gonna be this other guy who's hold on there, bucko. We have already got the idea for what we want to do with the game. Oh. Okay, well, that's fine. What's the idea then? Okay, so you know Poppy's Playtime, right? Yeah, I know it. Okay, so we're gonna do that, but with these blobs of goo that my 7-year-old son drew. What, you hold on, you want us to copy another game? No, we're not copying, we're innovating. I guess, whatever, I think I can make this into a 10-hour experience if we've got the same deadline still. So, about that, we want you to have this done by the end of the month. What, that's impossible. It would take a month just to get the assets and the programming done, and maybe, like, the first 20 minutes, like a demo of the game done. Alright, got it. We're gonna break the game up into different segments, and we're gonna sell them one at a time for more profit. Yeah, something like that. If you were confused by that little bit I just did, then here's a summary of the point I was trying to make. When a game is being made, primarily by bigger game companies, the executives and board members don't actually care about the quality of the game or what it's about. They only care about how much money it'll rake in. So, when they discuss what to do for their next game, they'll just steal a couple of ideas and mechanics from some other popular games, and then tell their team to slap them together and publish it. It's bland, it's unoriginal, and it costs $40 for an experience that is the equivalent of paying somebody to throw a brick at my head. Quick side note, I'm not talking about the people who actually flesh out the game, like the designers or programmers or modelers. I'm just talking about the people at the top. All goodwill to the people who actually make the game. This is a worst case scenario, however. There are only a few game companies out there that are actually like this. Activision. Most developers and game companies are genuine and want their products to be the best it can possibly be. Now, let's look at what makes a good horror game. I'm gonna take a few real-life examples from a couple of different games. The first one is atmosphere and ambience. Take a game like Five Nights at Freddy's, which is known for its perfect unsettling atmosphere and ambience. The only noise that fills the silence is the buzzing of the lights, along with the occasional sounds of the old decrepit building creaking and groaning. It instills a sense of uneasiness in you, constantly forcing you to be anxious. Now, if you were to replace that atmosphere with something else, then it would diminish the experience completely. For example, if you, the night guard, brought a speaker to your office and were blasting heavy metal the whole time, then obviously, your mind wouldn't be able to settle, and when you finally finished the game, then your review of the game would be something like,
"This game was exquisitely divine. The combination of 3D and 2D assets were so well crafted, and the storytelling was perfectly paced and hidden as to allow more content for those to wish to delve deeper into the enigma that is this game. I shall note, however, that there was a major flaw with this masterpiece, as the unconventional music that played each and every night was diminishing the overall quality of said game."
Either that or you'll just post something like, "couldn't sex the chicken," like half the reviews on Steam. Anyway, let's move on to the second component, which is mechanics. This one is pretty self-explanatory. If you have oversaturated or just stupid game mechanics, then your game is trash. Plain and simple. I don't want to pay $20 for a game for it to only have one way to explore the entire thing. Like, oh, here you go, take this UV flashlight and shine it on suspicious spots to uncover clues of what you need to do. Now, do that for the 1 hour it takes to beat this game. Come on, if you're making a game, at least put some effort into it or accurately price it. If it's a low effort game, then make it around $5 or something, and then go make something you can actually be proud of. What just fell? Sorry, a mirror just fell off my desk. Anyway, the third and final component, and what I personally believe is the most important, is the story. You can have all the jump scares and spooky hallways and decapitation scenes that you want, but if you don't have a genuinely good story behind your game, then it'll be mediocre at best. It's like the spine of the video game. You can have the arms and the legs, but you need the spine to hold everything together. Sometimes you don't even really need the other stuff for your game to be amazing. Take the cute and innocent game of Doki Doki Literature Club, for example. There's a reason why I keep mentioning this game in my videos, and it's because it is mortifying. If you've never played this game or know what it's about, then you need to stop watching this video right now and go play the game. The original is free to play on Steam, fair warning. Anyway, as I was saying, DDLC breaks down your mind in one of the best ways I've ever seen. When you first start the game, it plays out almost how any other anime visual novel does. You fall into a harem of girls that are all in the same club, and you have to write poems that use the words they like to win over their hearts. And then, on the morning of the big festival that your club is partaking in, your best friend doesn't show up to school. You run back to her house to check on her because you two had an interesting conversation the day before, and you're worried about her. You're childhood best friends, so you go into her house and knock on her bedroom door. She doesn't respond, so against your better judgment, you gently open the door and she's committed friendly fire against herself. Then the game starts glitching and it restarts back to the beginning, only this time your best friend is gone. Erased. You replay the game, but something isn't right. The girls start going crazy, especially the purple one. And, well, she too commits friendly fire. And then the puppeteer reveals herself to you. Monica, the club president, was sentient the whole time. She wanted to be with you, but the game didn't give you a pathway for her. She was cast out and left to remain in obscurity. However, she knew that this was just a game. She knew that you were real and everything else was fake, so she killed them. She manipulated the code of the game and erased everyone else so you could be with her. Just Monica. And that is the game. The whole game is literally only story. There are basically no jump scares. The atmosphere 90% of the time is really happy and cutesy. But the true story of the game is so well crafted and twisted that it overrides everything else. It hits you all at once like a freight train, and all you're left with at the end is dread. Now that is how you make a true horror game. Like I said, no jump scares and very little creepy scenes. The game takes like 6 to 8 hours to complete, but holy hell does it leave a long-lasting impact. Oh, and by the way, it was made by one dude. This man, Dan Salvato, put care and passion into the game, and what came out was an absolute masterpiece. That's all it takes to make a good horror game nowadays. Care, passion, and a little bit of time. Who would have thought? And you don't even need good graphics. Remember Presentable Liberty? I'll be making a video about that game soon, but it's basically DDLC, but with pixelated graphics from like 2013, 2014.
Oh, but Light Splash, if it's that easy, then why are horror games by companies so bad nowadays?
Well, dear viewer, that's because it all boils down to what I said earlier. Money. Money rules overall, and that's what most companies care about above all else. As long as the game makes money, they don't care how crappy it is. It could be the video game version of content farming on YouTube. Just get the brain-dead 8-year-olds to buy your $10 game and then spam out sequels like a... Just realize I can't say that because the whole thing would have to be censored. But you understand what I mean. Anyway, TLDR, passion is what makes horror games good, and that's why horror games by indie developers seem to pop off more than horror games made by bigger game companies, because corporate greed rules above all else. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button, and let me know in the comments below what type of content you would like to see next. Be nice to one another, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.